Welcome everyone, it's Vapors Dragamar. We finally found him. We found Templar. Yep, we found Templar. So yeah. Last episode, yeah, we were looking for Templar as well. I was also looking for Spirithost. Found Spirithost. I've been grinding a vicious amount to try to level food. Where's Templar? We're going to be building this guy out. Straight up. We are going to be building this guy out. Because he is unbelievably valuable now. Him and Spirithost. So we're going to be forging some food for them. I'm going to start with forging a rank 5 food and then try to start forging food for them specifically. Because those are the two most anticipated champions for this account are Templar and Spirithost. Be looking for further Templars in this account. This is where I found him on this account. He isn't the easiest champion to find on the planet, and neither is Spirithost. Spirithost, for some reason, gave me a lot more of a hassle. This doesn't mean I don't have to develop a bunch of food to make this happen. I do. Because the thing you have to understand is I have to make another rank 6. So, see, the thing about making rank 6s is that you have to start the process at least of trying to do it. Because in the beginning, or like early on, there's a lot of champions that are tempting to mess around with, and you have to choose which one of those tempting champions will be the one to ascend to 6-star. Because you have to select one. Only one can be selected. And we're not going to be doing Direct Star because we're not close to that point yet. Direct Star is kind of a late game thing. Because you generally need a very powerful team. Or at least reasonably powerful to make that happen. Now, that doesn't mean that it will be able to do everything, but I found Templar in this account again, which is good. It's a long slog. It's a long slog. It's kind of like rolling 100 shards. It's a long slog typically to get this guy on here. You really have to farm hard to I may also start doing other stages as well. They got a crest on the wall. It's interesting. But yeah, my second Templar in recent history takes his journey to the top. Now, he isn't the only one, but I have to start preparing rank 5 foods. And then the foods for him is for Spirithost. Because all of them have a long journey ahead. As you may have guessed. A lot of them have a long journey to go. Because this account has some serious issues with champions being not in the right spot in terms of levels. But only one of them can go down in history as a 6-star for now. So I have to select who will go down first. That's awkward. He stole the buff. That is very awkward. I didn't know he could do that. So yeah, I've got to get him to that. I'm going to go develop a level 3 as well. Because I need to start making 5 stars on this account. Like just 5-star food, because I need at least, I need to begin the process of making another 6-star. That part needs to start to happen. Like I already kind of did that process on the other account. But yeah, that's where it begins here. Gotta try to damage this guy down. He's very annoying trying to fight Bad Alcazar, honestly. Because he regens a lot, he does a fair amount of damage, and he poisons your whole team. It's good for clan boss though. Here we can find War Maidens. We need more food as well. But Templar begins his journey. I have to start making rank 5 fuel for my next rank 6 champion. Because the problem is making rank 5s all the time isn't going to cut it. I have to start making more rank 6s. Because without those, we are in trouble. But War Maiden's another good shout for this account. Like, there's a lot of really good champions in campaign for this account. Now, to rank 6 all of them is a bit difficult. So I do, and I do have to select only one at a time. I do only have to select one at a time. Now, there you can go enjoy these barbarians, these guys that with the face paint. You can actually get them from mystery shards and from this area. I might actually use them for faction wars because I'm low on barbarians. Other than obviously War Maiden and other than War Maiden and High Katoon, yes. War Maiden and High Katoon. Because remember that dank stuff with the High Katoon strategy? But yeah, I do need to make the next rank 6. Now, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but making a rank 6 does a lot for an account. It does. Now, I've been thinking of whether to take Spirithost to rank 6. It would be a bit of a stretch, but I am thinking about it. Because maybe Spirithost would both give me an attack buff and would give me block debuffs, which would allow me to easily cruise past the other place to get a sacred, among other things. Spirithost is useful in a lot of content because she speeds up your runs. She provides massive increased attack. So, like, that would massively buff Kale for a lot of content. So I am thinking there is a very good chance that I 6-star Spirithost. Like, a very good chance. Like, 6-star her first. Because I've never 6-starred a Spirithost, number one. And number two, she could do a lot with this account. Like, you just put her in an area, have her increase the attack constantly. That like, I can't tell you the value of that. I can't tell you the value of it. Unless you guys know the value of increased attack, like by 50%, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain that value. But for an account like this, value is huge. Value is tremendous. Like, if you increase the attack of Kale, and yeah, if you increase Kale's attack and you block his debuffs, he can do a lot. He can do a lot in a lot of content. So that's what I'm thinking would be the fastest value for my, like, bang for my buck, if you will. I mean, there's also Templar, so that's an option as well. I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be grinding all these champions out that I'm mentioning. I am. It's just... It might be useful. Because remember, this account's very early on. Like, in terms of progression, this account's not very far. I'm no longer feeding him, but I still have to make a bunch of other food to compensate. Because now I've kind of decided who the winners and losers are. Now I have to take the losers, which Templar is no longer among the losers. I have to take the actual losers and start making the appropriate food. Because there's a lot of champs that need this. There's a lot of champions that need to move up the food chain. Because the thing is, especially when you're starting out, like, champions moving up the food chain is a big deal. Because most of them are low down the tree. They're not high enough rank to do their job. That's what the game starts out with. That's how it goes. I'm gonna go through the land of the lizards. The fun tropical teal landscape of Doom. Now, Valerie could be a good shout for 6-star. It's just, I do believe that 6-star Spirithost is severely underrated. So, there is a real chance that I do that. Just so I can severely buff my attack for a lot of accounts, among other things. Okay, so yeah, this is the food conveyor belt that I'm trying to make. Because yes, the food conveyor belt has been decided for this account. Because I have to start preparing this conveyor belt. That's the problem. Because whenever you have an account like this, if you don't prepare the conveyor belt, you won't get a lot done. That might have just been my death sentence. been... Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, that decreased cooldown. Yeah. That was the sound of my death, basically. For Kale, at least. That's one thing that makes this stage very scary, is the fact this stage can just kill you straight up. This stage can just straight up murder you if he decreases cooldown. One of these lizards does that, it can just completely ruin your day. Unless you're quite far in. These lizards can completely ruin your day because they do that to you. What else? Yeah, I need her at 30 because that's when I'm going to be able to get this account online. It's not easy to get this account online, but that's how I'm going to do it. Because I have to at some point just straight up make the rank 6 food. Just make it, ignore the rest of the champions, and just make it. And then... the progress through campaign, the lizards, that... What makes them so dangerous is if any of them just decrease cooldowns, you could just be dead if you're not, like, later into the game. Because the cooldowns are already kind of bitterly high in the early, especially before completing masteries. So... and your gear isn't that good at all. So yeah, the decreasing of the cooldowns can just straight up kill you if it hits you, if it hits Kale with the right RNG. And there you have it. Now, this area is really wicked for a lot of reasons. One of the things that makes this area so phenomenally wicked is the setup with these enemies. These enemies are very annoying. They have unkillable. They have a lot of really upsetting stuff on them. Yeah, these enemies, very annoying. That could be my death. And I think it might be. Yep. Decreased cooldowns, I'm telling you. In fact, it's so bad, I don't even want to farm that stage. Just because of how bad decreased cooldowns is at this stage of the game. Oh, no, increase cooldowns, excuse me. Increase cooldowns. Increase cooldowns can be your death. Just straight up, you died on here. Like, the thing is, it's not as bad on a later account, but here where Kale is like the do-all end-all, that can just kill you. You had your cooldowns increased? Nah, you're dead. That's how you can kind of tell this account is not a late game account. One way that you could firmly tell is that Kale is still able of dying in campaign. He is not immortal. That's one way you can tell. Kale is still capable of dying in campaign. You get to mid-game when Kale is completely incapable of dying in campaign, practically. That's when you've reached mid-game. Late game is when Kale can be with a bunch of other nut bars. There's like different stages. I don't want to farm that stage because that stage is really annoying. Is anything with consistent decreased cooldowns and extreme durability, I don't really want to deal with that right now. Now, I am planning on using Spirithost as a method to do that stage. Because Spirithost could be the answer to beating that stage just straight up. Because what Spirithost will do to fix all that problems is that Spirithost will allow me to increase attack, and the increased attack will allow me to clear that stage. But right now, I need to increase Kale's attack significantly to get past that stage properly. The other champions won't do that. See, this is the behind the scenes work here that you don't see of me trying to get these champions to where they need to be. I'm not going to show all of it. I'm only going to show some of it because the true story of these champions is very long and difficult. And I may have to complete Brutal from the beginning many times in order to get all the champions that you want and get them all to the levels that you need them at. Because there's a lot of characters in this game. But you can only choose one 6-star at a time. But yeah. Now, we could farm this a lot, but I'm not going to because I'm going to do it off screen. I do have to raise a hell of a lot of food in order to fix the whole situation. We'll do a little bit of it. Try to get her to 30. Try to create... Because I have to set aside the food first. Because there's a food investment that I'm going to try to show. I'm not going to do the whole Brimstone Pass thing. Not Brimstone. Hollowed Hills without developing Spirithost now that I have her. Because Spirithost is a boon in Hollowed Halls. Like a boon. She's probably the biggest boon of that. She's probably the biggest boon. Because what she does is she increases attack so that Kale can finally attack all of that. And she's able to block the debuffs of that wicked boss. So she's got a double, like a two-part reason to 6-star her. So that's why I'm considering it. Like, she's useful in so much content where I just lack the damage. I don't have the damage or the ability to get away from the debuffs. So that's why... Are you talking to the vermin fees again? I think you are. What I like to call the vermin. Okay, I have to make sure... Yeah, my runs of this, they're not very efficient yet. Because early on, we don't really have a lot of stats. But yeah, I'm still starting to think that Spirithost and Templar. The problem with Templar is although he can duel stuff by himself, what I really need is something to buff Kale to do content. And I'm thinking that Spirithost might... Well, no, Spirithost is the answer. Spirithost is going to be the answer for most content for this account because she's going to remove debuffs for most content, not Bommel. And she's going to be able to increase attack. So I'm going to be able to take on much bigger stuff because of that buff. That one buff. You can't underestimate that buff. I used that buff to kill Dark Fae recently. You can't underestimate how much buffing your attack is. Like, I can't emphasize this to you guys enough. Increased attack buff is massive. And the earlier game you are, the more increased attack buff is. Like this account, increased attack is god tier. Like 50% increased attack. 50%, unlike the 25% for War Priest. I mean, 25% is already significant here. But 50% increased attack, that's massive. you'll start nuking content like a cannon with that. Like a cannon. Like I can't ignore that much of a buff to Kale. I can't. I have to try to 6-star her. Yeah, I have to 6-star her. I have to talk myself into it, but yeah, you need to do that in order to. I mean, I also have a lot of food to raise, to be fair, as well. So we'll be doing more of that off screen. I'm showing some of my work, if you will. Because, yeah, I do need to start buffing Spirithost. She also will be a unique 6-star. She'll be the first time I've ever 6-starred a Spirithost. But yeah, it provides her a lot of stats, which, to be honest with you, I want a lot of stats for someone who's going to be buffing my attack. I mean, we could probably even use her for Bommel just to increase attack, honestly. Just to increase attack and strike hard. Because that could do it, you know? You never know. The problem with 6-starring always is if you got a 6-star, you first got to set aside the food. But I do believe Spirithost in this situation would be worth setting aside food for. Now the reason for it is because so many of my accounts lack a they lack, what do they lack? They lack so many of my accounts lack a proper, I don't know, like increased attack for this account would be God tier. Because it's Kale's biggest problem, and I can't just turn it around with some magic of like I can't just easily turn it around because it would take a long time of simmering in arena to get there. So the only quick way of doing that is the 6-star Spirithost. That's the thing. That would give us the keys, if you will, to causing massive havoc. I don't really care about the Dragon Tournament right this second. My biggest problem has got to do with the fact that I need to make... So what I'm going to do is a preliminary buff. Yeah, I have certain champions I need to buff. And my preliminary buff is going to be Spirithost. Because Spirithost, Well, okay, first things first. Before we buff Spirithost, I have to start forging food. Because I need to make a rank 6 food first. That's what I need to start making first.
We put laundry in the washing machine, didn't we?
I will check on that.
If not, fill up the dryer 3/4 full, then start it with the stuff hanging.
Alright, so we got that. Now the reason that I bothered to forge all of this food is because I'm trying to make, if I'm going to make a rank 6, I have to start making rank 6 food. That's the truth of the matter.